여러분 여기 엄청나게 유명한 트레이더 거의 뭐 탑급이죠. 트레이드 바이 맷 모시게 됐는데 Hi Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Could you please briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Matt. I go by Trades by Matt on socials, YouTube and stuff. I trade futures.
So how'd you get into trading?
Got into trading, kind of a long story, but the very quick version is in high school, my dad had studied finance and I thought finance meant stocks. And so I decided to like try and trade penny stocks. Got my butt handed to me. Did not work well. Continued that through college. Then fast forward into my first job. Started in crypto because it was 24/7. Started trading futures in 2018. Never looked back. Love futures. And then went full time in 2020.
What do you trade in futures? NASDAQ, S&P?
Yeah, NASDAQ futures only.
Oh, NASDAQ only. No metal.
No metals,
Oh.
no anything else, just NASDAQ.
Why did you choose NASDAQ over other instruments? And what unique characteristic of NASDAQ do you exploit?
So when I was introduced to futures from a buddy in Discord, he told me about NASDAQ futures. I'd always heard about like crude oil, S&P 500, whatever, but he was telling me about NASDAQ futures, so I decided to trade that. I liked the way it moved. It made sense in my head. I've tried other things. I've tried crude oil, tried S&P, I've tried gold once. I just really like the way it moves. If you watch something long enough, your brain kind of picks up on how it moves a lot better. I've learned that I'd rather just know exactly what I'm going to trade every single day, which is NASDAQ. As far as like exploiting it, the volatility is amazing. It's always there in some capacity, and so I know that I'm always going to have some trade set up to take. I take base hits, which means like small trades, kind of like scalping in a weird way or a different way.
In terms of 50K account, what's that in dollars?
So like a base hit for me is 10 points on the NASDAQ, which is 200 USD for one contract.
So what was the single most important mindset shift that turned you from struggling trader into a consistent professional trader?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, base hits. So I was doing well before base hits, but I was going for like home run trades, right? Like big trades. I would mix in little trades in there. And then I had the realization that like at the end of the day, trading is a job and I'm not here to trade for the next 3 months. I'm trying to trade for the rest of my life. And for me to trade the rest of my life, I need to be consistent day over day over day. How do I find consistency day over day over day, right? There's not always going to be a 100-point move for me to take, but there's always a 10-point move usually for me to take, right? So if I can find those little trades to take, I find it a lot easier for me to be able to action off of that, stay emotionally stable and consistent and patient, and then just execute it over and over and over again.
You said 10-point move. So how much are you risking? 10 points? Is it 1-to-1?
So I don't use a true like RR ratio. I personally, it's kind of a hot take. I don't think the market cares about a ratio, right? For me, I use market structure. I love this idea of cheap trades. Cheap trade is something where my risk is less, right? But I'm always looking at where does the market invalidate this move, right?
What does that mean, invalidate?
So like at what point am I wrong? So like if the trend is up, if we break a lower low, the trend usually goes down, right?
Oh yeah, it's no longer.
Right, it's no longer valid. So for me, I want to get in as close to that as I can so that my stop is close. For instance, if I get into a trade and the market structure suggests that the move would like reverse 30 points lower, that means I should have my stop 30 points lower. Is that a good trade for me to take? No, is the answer for me. I would rather be patient and wait for it to come back down or find a different entry. An ideal trade for me would be like 7 points of risk or 10 points of risk even. But I want it to be closer to my entry than having to open it up. So I don't use like a 2-to-1 or anything like that.
Okay, so you're saying you want to find the most logical stop loss position.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, the
Right.
market does what the market wants to do,
Yes,
right? The
yes.
market doesn't care where my stop is.
Right.
The market doesn't care about my 2-to-1. The market cares about what it has done and the structure it's built. So I want to find the thing that makes the most sense that aligns with that in the cheapest way possible. The most important job I have is to limit my risk.
You've been doing YouTube for a very, very long time. Saw the views back in all the day. There were no views. When would you say you experienced all those quantum jumps in your YouTube career?
I guess to get back to why I started YouTube, I made like my YouTube channel as like a public journal for my trading. In my mind, I was like, the best way that I can get better is by being vulnerable and showcasing me getting better,
Yeah.
right? And showcasing me sucking at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to make a video of me sucking, so let me try harder to be better, right?
Yeah.
I had a massive surge when Bakhodu came into the scene.
Oh, Bakhodu.
yeah.
We're gonna get into that.
Yeah, we're gonna get into Bakhodu.
박호두님.
Big jump from him, but also just like consistency. There was no big quantum jump other than just me showing up every day.
Yeah.
Gradually, then suddenly.
Yes.
Show up every day, and then look back and I'm like, oh, I got 50,000 subs.
So as the Korean market grows, I see some YouTubers coming into the market, but since it's still beginning stage, the
Yeah.
Korea, they upload a couple videos, 10 or 20 videos, and because they have no views, they stop. So what would you encouragement say?
It takes time to get traction. There is no fast track way. Like overnight success starts years before, right?
Yeah.
Someone's an overnight success, it's because they put 5 years of work into their moment where they popped off. So if you're starting out a YouTube channel, you're gonna have a long time of no traction, no views. All it takes is one video though. You don't even know if it's gonna go viral. All of a sudden it goes viral, and all of a sudden you got a big channel, right? But it's because you showed up every day and you put in the work.
How long did you start
Started my YouTube
again?
channel in 2017. Almost 10 years. 9 years, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mad respect.
Yeah, thanks.
Now let's talk about 박호두. So when was this?
네, 여러분 영상 잘 보고 계신가요? 잠깐 쉬고 가자면 요즘 전 세계 트레이더들 사이에서 프랍 트레이딩이 하나의 트렌드가 되고 있습니다. 인터뷰하고 있는 이 트레이더도 그리고 저 역시 프랍 트레이딩으로 매매를 하고 있습니다. 왜일까요? 내 돈으로 트레이딩하는 건 리스크가 매우 큽니다. 한 번의 실수로 저희의 잔고가 날아갈 수 있으니까요. 프랍 트레이딩은 다릅니다. 소액의 시험 비용을 내고 동일한 환경에서 테스트를 받고 실력이 검증되면 큰 자본으로 매매할 기회를 얻을 수 있습니다. 트레이딩을 잘하면 상금은 물론 실계좌 후원까지 이어질 수 있습니다. 이런 프랍 트레이딩을 한국에서 가장 활발하게 다루는 유일무이한 커뮤니티는 바로 저희 그라인딩 라이프입니다. 실제 이런 프랍 트레이딩을 통해 꾸준히 출금하고 있는 위닝 트레이더들의 후기와 국내뿐만 아닌 해외 글로벌 보수 트레이더들의 인터뷰와 강의가 계속 소개될 예정입니다. 관심 있으시다면 지금 보고 계시는 제이트레이더 채널 구독, 좋아요 눌러주시고요. 고정 댓글에 그라인딩 라이프 커뮤니티 링크 올려두겠습니다.
Oh gosh, I should have looked it up. Probably like 2021, 2022 maybe.
So what was he trading and what were you trading?
So I was trading NQ futures.
And
He was trading crypto at the time. Oh no, he was actually started with natural gas.
Natural gas. Yeah,
The
yeah,
Widowmaker.
yeah.
It's got a name, the Widowmaker, because no one survives trading natural gas.
Back in 2021, there were no prop firms. So you were
Yeah.
live trading?
I was using a prop actually.
Oh yeah, Top Set.
Top
Right,
Step's
right,
been around a long
right.
time. Someone in his chat had told him Matt trades futures, and so one day my stream fills with Korean characters, Korean chat, right? And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I see all these ha 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 ha,
Yeah.
you know, in the chat. Someone was like, Parkodu says hi. I was like, who is Parkodu? They're like, look him up on YouTube. I pull up Parkodu's YouTube, and my face is on his stream. He's watching my stream in his stream. So I pull his stream over, and we're looking at each other through each other's streams, and that started several months, funny interaction.
Several months.
Yeah.
So was the interaction like a dual competitive, who's going to trade better, or like just making fun of each other?
I think it started with him making fun of me. I think. There's a little bit of a language barrier there, right? And then it became a challenge. Parkodu would make money, so I needed to make money. Or I made money, Parkodu didn't make money.
Yeah.
So we started like a little bit of a challenge there. And then it got to, then he started trading crypto. I would check in on his stream to see like what's Bitcoin doing or what type of stupid trade did he make. He would do the same thing for me. I started drinking soju because of him.
Really? How'd you get soju?
Someone shipped it to me.
One of the fans.
Yeah, someone shipped me some soju.
That's so
because
funny.
he would do these barbecue streams where he's like cooking chicken, I think, chicken and soju. There was one famous stream that I remember where I pulled up his stream. He's cooking, drinking soju. I bring out my soju. We're just drinking soju together on stream. Good times.
You're probably coming to Korea late this year.
Hopefully, that's the plan. That's the plan.
yeah.
If it's not this year, I'm coming next year no matter what.
So are you down to have dinner with
Yeah,
a meal
let's
with
do it.
Parkodu?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Can you send message to Parkodu? I'll try my best to send it to him.
Yeah, Parkodu, if I'm coming to Korea, we're gonna have soju and fried chicken. And we're gonna have a good laugh.
It's so funny. You achieved massive payouts from Apex.
Yep.
Did you share that in your YouTube channel? Like how much you got
Yeah.
paid out from
Yeah,
Apex last year?
The biggest journey that I've ever had, like my biggest payout cycle was over like 85, 86 days. I streamed every single trade. I showed every single trade. It was all base hits, all 10-point winners. I was making $400 a day, but I was copy trading to 20 accounts. And I did that over 85 days and took out like $369,420 or something.
What month was that?
That was Q1 of 25. So maybe February through April.
February is coming.
February's
February
coming. Yeah, that's right.
December and January we got chopped up because
Yeah.
obviously low volatility in that season.
Hopefully it comes back.
It
Yeah,
comes back.
let's see.
Okay. Korean audience wants to know what's your strategy?
It's very volume heavy, so order flow. So I use volume profile. I use the DOM to seek liquidity, to show where liquidity is at. At the end of the day, the market exists to make orders, right? So the market finds where all of those heavy orders are.
Iceberg.
Yeah, similar to icebergs.
Yeah.
And I use volume profile, and then I use cumulative delta, which is the change of market buying. So like if I click the market buyer button, the net change, so meaning how many market buyers compared to how many market sellers. And that to me, all of those are real-time analytics. It's not lagging, it's not in the past, it's real-time, it's changing constantly. And that all helps me see what is the market doing. I am not smart enough to pick the very bottom or to pick the very top. I'm not a market maker, right? So I want to see what the big dogs, what the big players are doing, jump in a little bit, ride up with them, get out, take my base hit, and then let them figure out the rest. But I use order flow really to kind of figure that out.
Yeah, I'm getting into order flow and I'm studying order flow footprint. What do you think about footprint?
Footprint, I think, is really good on on like the S&P 500, even crude oil. On NASDAQ, I think it's very challenging because the NASDAQ is so volatile. It's really hard to digest that much information, at least for me. It's hard for me to digest that much information on a footprint chart on NASDAQ futures. That's why I just use the DOM or Delta.
I mean, delta is basically footprint. Like it
Yeah, more or less,
subjects,
right?
yeah.
It's just an easier way to digest it, in my opinion. I think the S&P 500 footprint charts are really good.
What would you say the average number of trades that you take per day over long run?
I think broken out, it's probably around 4 to 5, maybe 6.
That seems kind of high.
Yeah, I have a lot of break-even trades. So if I have two 10-point winners, I usually just call it there. That's $400 across 20 accounts. It's a little under $8,000 US, and that's like good for me. But I don't win every trade, and I take a lot of break-evens because whenever the price moves 5 points up to $100, I move my stop loss break-even, and a lot of times it goes back down and hits it, but I don't want to take a losing trade. So I'm okay with break-evens. It helps me out.
You recently shared your story of you getting into 150K accounts, 20 of them, and then you moved back down to 2050K accounts.
Yeah.
Could you share
Yeah,
that
the
experience?
300s I found very challenging.
It was not 150, it was 300.
300s. So I found them very hard to trade. I realized that I'm a man of like my habit. With trading, I don't want to think. I want to just execute. I don't want to have to think about what I'm doing. When I sized up, it put me out of my comfort zone in a bad way of like wanting to trade more contract, wanting to do all these things, searching for this like number, right? And I had to ask myself like, what is enough? Do I really need to be trading this much size on 300K accounts if I'm happy? I did $300,000 plus in 80 days on 50K accounts. Do I really need more than that in 80 days? The answer is like, yeah, we all want that because we're humans, but like I don't need that. So let me take the stress of 300Ks, get rid of that, and bring it back down to 50Ks, and my trading immediately got better.
So how many of the funding accounts do you have right now?
I got 20 funded accounts right now.
Oh, you're just trading Apex?
Just Apex. I don't trade other firms right now.
This 50K account, what's the buffer that you've made so far?
I think like 6,000 buffer.
Whoa, you're not getting paid out?
I'm
You're
just
not-
building it a little
Building
bit.
it over?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't want to have stress when I take a payout.
No.
Rushing the process is like the number one way that I think traders fail. They're just like constantly trying to hit big numbers really quickly, right? But we have to like have delayed gratification. We have to be able to be okay with little bits and building the buffer, because if I try and rush it, I do stupid things. If I'm trying to force something to happen that's not happening, I tilt, I do FOMO. If I put some arbitrary time constraint on myself, like some random time constraint, there's no point in doing that. I'm gonna be here in 3 months. I don't need to rush it in 2 weeks.
You mentioned you use volume profile, delta, and the dome. Can you go in depth? What's your most reliable strategy that you take?
I have 3 strategies I really like, and depending on market conditions, it changes based on reliability. One is a wick test. The wick test is if you have a candle that puts in a wick and it closes, another candle engulfs that wick. The next candle, the third candle, I want it to come back down, test that prior wick. I go in the direction with it and I ride it up. Very quick 90 or 60-second example on my YouTube channel. You just type in trades by Matt wick test. It's
Wick
there.
test.
Number 2 is a delta divergence. So whenever price is making a new low and delta is not following that, meaning there's not that many sellers, we have more buyers than sellers as price is making a new low. A lot of times paired up with volume, if there's good volume there, that's a good entry, and I'll ride that up.
That suggests that it got absorbed, right?
Yeah, exactly. Absorption would be the case there. And the last one that I really have enjoyed the last year and a half is the initial balance trade. Initial balance is the first hour high and the first hour low. So from market open till the first hour, you mark the high and the low. After that first hour, you don't move those lines anymore. When price breaks out of the high or the low, I look for a retest, get short if it's at the lows. If it breaks out to the high, look for a retest of the high, get long, ride it up. It's a good continuation play.
Candlesticks, which time frame?
I use a 5 minute, a 1 minute, and a 22 range. And a range chart is not super common. A range chart is not time based. It's just price action based. For me, I use a 22. So each candle is 22 ticks of price movement. And in order for it to print a new candle, it has to hit that 23rd to print a new candle. So each candle is 5.5 points. If that took 5 hours, that's still just one candle for 5 hours. Sometimes that happens in 10 seconds. Right? If we're really volatile, it might make a ton of candles very quickly.
When do you choose a certain
I'm looking
time
at
frame?
all of them all the time.
All of them?
Yeah.
How do you use all of them at the same time?
So the wick test, I prefer on the 5 minute. Volume profile, I keep on the 5 minute. The 1 minute I use for like granular entry. So if the 5 minute is creating a setup, I use the 1 minute to figure out where I should get in, or I'll use the 22 range to look at delta and figure out where I should get in there. So they're all like kind of blending together.
Do you have online course?
No courses, just YouTube. I have a YouTube playlist called TBM Theories, and that is like my course.
Oh.
It's where I have all my strategies.
Okay. So how do you handle low volume months like January or December or July, August?
I hate the summer. I do not like summer trading.
So what do you do? You just
I try and trade it.
Yeah.
I just try and keep my risk really tight and then know that like Q1, Q4, I'm going to do better. And I just need to survive the summer. I'm like 6 years deep of it full time and it still sucks.
Yeah.
So
I noticed that you're currently building your own trading platform.
Yeah.
Is there the reason why? Because there are already great platforms like NinjaTrader or AdTest or Quantitower.
Yeah.
Why are you building your...
yeah, it's called Tradester. Got the
Oh,
hat.
Tradester.
Yeah, it should be live in the summer. I'm building it because every platform that I've used was built a long time ago, 20 years ago. Even Trade which is like one of the newer ones, was built in 2015. The market has changed since then. We have prop firms, right, that are rocking and rolling. We've added these different things. And so for me, I wanted something that was web-based, but powerful. So I'm blending like order flow concepts that you can get in Sierra Chart, Bookmap, all these things, combining it into one powerful platform that's web-based, easy to use, visually nice, and just making it modern.
So you know how TradingView, their volume is not really real volume?
That's correct. We're getting real tick-based data. We're building our own charts. We're not using TradingView.
So is it open API? Is it programmer friendly?
As of right now, the answer is no. There's a world where we maybe allow APIs to sync in, but in my perspective, that would only be for like automated trading, which I don't really know if we want to allow. And eventually we will allow you to build your own indicators as well.
What's your platform's strongest indicator? Like volume profile, obviously is one of the strong indicators.
A bookmap would be massive.
Whoa, bookmap.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bookmap heat map in there.
Whoa. And one of your recent video also handles the psychology aspect of trading.
Yeah.
So, and you've shared your personal affirmations about being patient and disciplined. Can you elaborate on that, please?
It's not sexy to talk about psychology. Everybody wants to see big P&Ls, but big P&Ls don't come unless you're mentally strong. It's the most important thing in trading, in my opinion, is managing your risk and then managing your brain. If my brain is not dialed and ready to go, I will never keep the money that I make, right? And so for me, it comes down to like the daily affirmations. I will be patient. I will take base hits. Outliers do outlier things. I tell myself that every single day. Being able to maintain discipline day over day is incredibly hard. It's very hard. That is the number one reason why people blow up accounts. It's why they lose, is because they get tilted, they get FOMO, they don't know when to stop, right?
네, 여러분 마지막 부분 카메라 이슈가 있어서 촬영이 끊어졌는데 핵심적으로 설명을 드리자면 6년 이상 나스닥을 전업으로 한 매세 철학은 단순합니다. 큰 한 방을 노리기보다 작은 수익을 꾸준히 쌓는 것, 그리고 무엇보다 중요한 건 리스크와 멘탈 관리라고 했었어요. 결국 트레이딩에서 살아남는 사람은 가장 많이 맞춘 사람이 아니라 가장 오래 살아남는 사람이고, 이런 프롭 트레이딩을 통해 자기는 오래 살아남을 수 있었다고 얘기를 해줬습니다. 실투를 했었으면 너무 큰 손실을 봤기 때문에 금방 포기했을 수도 있고, 트레이딩을 하기 위한 뱅크롤이 다 터졌을 확률이 있었던 거니까. 그래서 다시 한번 마지막에 강조했던 내용은 야구에서 안타 치는 베이스 히트랑 꾸준한 디스플린, 절제력, 뻔한 말이지만 이걸 지키는 게 가장 중요하다고 다시 한번 말씀해 주시고 인터뷰 촬영이 마무리가 됐습니다. 여기까지 봐주셔서 감사하고 구독, 좋아요 꼭 눌러주시면 감사하겠습니다. 그리고 프롭 트레이딩이 뭔지 더 궁금하시다면 고정 댓글이나 영상 설명란에 네이버 카페 링크 달아두었습니다. 감사합니다.